thing.
Now we go.
All right. Here we go. Sometimes you get technical delays, but that's all right, because me and Lloyd don't play. October is here. It's October, you know. Numerology time, so let's just go. 1, 2, 3. You got a 9 and a 7. What we're going to give you is information from heaven. These downloads and giving you the codes. Famous Black Libras, so bring your abode. Lounge out and get the harmony and peace. Look at the stock market and just release all of the stress, because the knowledge is coming. Lloyd's bringing it and the numbers are humming. Yeah, now it's time for you to listen. Sit back, relax, and let your soul glisten. Yes, the episode is here. Lloyd Strayhorn, so you have no fear. Big E Astrology, and that's the way we go. Knowledge is love. It's time to start the show. Now listen, technology can try to mess you up sometimes, but you just gotta smile and laugh. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 384 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast. I have a very special guest tonight. Master Astro-Numerologist, author, the creator of a Star 8 app, and so much more, teacher, everything. I present the host of the great podcast Live with Lloyd and Numbers and You, Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm getting a little slowness on my end, so I hope it doesn't interfere too much with the flow of things, but I hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Yeah, you know, sometimes technology wants to do what it wants to do, but it can't stop what we're doing, you know? No. This is so great because it is, and this is just how God and the universe works. It is episode 384. You are the life path 7, correct, my friend?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a 7. And you're an Aquarius.
Yes.
And the moon is in Aquarius.
Yes,
so
I know.
There we go. So now you have to tell me what's the number energy of the day, because it's October 2nd. What does that mean?
The energy of the day is a number 3. What I did was I took October the 2nd and added it to 2025. Those series of numbers of the month, the day, and the year adds up to a 3. So this is a year, this is a day to be more creative, expressive, ambitious, determined, imaginative, expressive, optimistic. It's the cycle that governs, or the planet that is governed by Jupiter, the good luck planet that denotes expansion and prosperity and good luck and all those other things. So those under Pisces and Sagittarius especially, or born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, well, this should be a pretty good day for them, at least feeling that kind of energy.
I love that. See, and the way that you always explain this. Now, you know, the first time I had you on, we kind of went into the history and the foundation of Lloyd, but I wanted to kind of ask you, before we get into the numerology of October and kind of set the stage for everybody, what was it that really first excited you about numbers and numerology? Because the way that, you know, it's really clearly you were born to do this, but I'm always curious, like, what was that initial spark?
Well, you know, the ironic part is the spark was the shyness in elementary school, junior high school, talking to the girls. And so I was shy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where I got that from, but I grew out of that. But the point was, in my journey about breaking my shyness, I came across this subject called astrology.
Yeah.
Well, I started reading astrology. I found out I was an Aquarius.
Yeah.
And then I started going deep diving into the subject. And so I anything that was positive, great men and women personalities, historical things under the sign of Aquarius or whatever, and it helped build up my confidence, only to find out later that everybody wants to know about themselves. Yeah. And you know, I find it ironic, Eric. A person will say, I don't believe in astrology. I'll say, well, what's your sign? They'll say Capricorn. They don't even think about it. You know?
They do it right away.
Somebody who don't believe They don't have to say, what are the signs, what are the planets, just right away. So I just think it's very interesting. And then that led my journey subsequently into another avenue called numerology. And then back in the early 80s, I merged the two as Astro-Numerologist, combining both the ancient art. So, for example, if you got somebody born on September the 10th, they are, yes, a Virgo astrologically, numerically, they are number one because they're born on the 10th day, 1 + 0 is 1. But when I combine the two, I would say that you are a Virgo 1 person, which means you are an earth sign with a fire number. And then I begin to explain it practical, passionate, down to earth, motivational, et cetera, and go on from there.
Oh man, you're not shy anymore. The numbers and the ladies. you just won me over. I'm ready to empty out my pockets. Yes, sir. What do you want? I love it. All right, so let's get into it. Tell everybody. Listen, we just went through eclipse season. It was intense, right? Especially for me as a Virgo, and I got the Pisces North Node. This eclipse season has been kicking people's butts. We're on the other side of it now. It's October. But explain to the audience, what is the overall energy in the numerology of the month of October?
Well, October is a very, very auspicious time for getting a glimpse into the future. What do I mean? It's like you take Alana to the movies, but before you see the main movie, you see what is called the attractions, the coming attractions. And so you can say, yeah, we want to see that. No, we don't want to come and see that. Well, October to me represents, I call it symbolically the preview month. It gives you a snapshot of what is to come for the year ahead. So since this is a one universal month, and let me tell you how I got it. Very simple. I took 2025, that adds up to a 9.
Yep.
9 added to the 10th calendar month or position month, which is October, would make it 19. 1 + 9 is 10. 1 + 0 is 1. Therefore, October of 2025 is a one universal month. And the word universal means that everybody, birds, bees, cats, dogs, frogs, ants, you name it, human beings, everybody, regardless of agenda, ethnicity, finances, everybody is going to experience a one universal energy for the month of October. Now, what does it mean? Normally, one means a self-starter. Okay. Normally, in a one cycle, that's when people we say step out on their own. They start businesses, things of that nature. In a one cycle, it means people learn how to stand on their own. So if you've got somebody, Eric, in a codependent situation or relationship, circumstances before the year is over will force them to stand on their own 2 feet. It's like you got to grow up. So those under the signs of Leo, those under the signs of Aquarius and Aries, or people born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th, like you, or the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, or 31st, you guys go to the head of the class next year.
Okay.
But it means everybody should be proactive. Everybody should kind of think of themselves as self-starters. This is when a lot of businesses open up too.
Really? Okay. So now this is interesting because, all this ancient wisdom and knowledge is coming back up, and we're all kind of aware that the Gregorian calendar is not so nice, right? It's not the real deal. So how would you look at this if we actually followed, I guess, maybe an older calendar where October, that this would be the 8th month and not the 10th?
Exactly. And September would be the 7th month.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's the whole thing. And the one thing I found as I got into this world of astrology, numerology, there are calendars all over the world, from the Mayan calendar. They got their processes in December, and you got the Gregorian, you got this calendar, that calendar. So this is why people from the Middle East will be born in one time, but when they come to the United States, also Africa too. So a lot of African brothers' birthday is always January the 1st, which is Capricorn. Because it's totally different in their countries. Then you have certain areas like in the Caribbean and normally parts of the South back in the day, where there wasn't actually records kept about the birthdays. So they'll kind of grab a birthday or something like that. So there's so many intriguing parts that you and I will find out, especially with those that don't know their birthday. So I knew of an astrologer who began to ask a series of questions to kind of, by process of elimination, deduce probably what your zodiac, your rising sign is.
Yes.
So it's all kinds of techniques. And the nice thing about what we do, it's a learning experience. You don't know everything. No. You don't know everything. That's
You're constantly learning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
it's nonstop.
So this would be a good month for people to step up and step out, initiate and begin a new business, or
yes, to be more proactive. Yes, to be more proactive about what their intentions are, to not wait on others, but do for yourself. And as I said, this is one of the few cycles that being selfish is important. It's not about what your mother wants, the wife wants, the kids wants, the family, the bosses, the co-workers. It's about what you want for yourself. Now, it's not that you don't include other people in the picture, but the way I put it, how can you help your family if you don't have your house in order?
Amen.
See what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
And that's so fascinating, Lloyd, because, you know, in astrology, right, we have the sister signs, and what you described sounded like you were talking about an Aries, the opposite of Libra, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's really perfect, because Libras, that's like a karmic lesson that they have to learn and work on to go out more on their own, not be passive aggressive, not worried about, keeping the peace. Like go get it, be assertive like the Aries. So that's powerful.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that the signs are Leo, Aquarius, Aries, or people whose birthday adds up to either a 1 or a 4. They will be the beneficiaries of this year's energies, no question.
Can you imagine a time where, you know, and I know people are starting to do this or think about it more, but where we actually, and especially in our community, but just everybody, where we actually went back to educating the children through the astrology, numerology, cardology, right? Through, I know you had the sister on talking about the 9 ether energy, you know, like really through these mystery schools. Do you feel like we're kind of getting back to that? Like it's coming, it's right here around the corner?
I do believe so, because first of all, with Pluto in Aquarius, which is a very transformative planet in a transformative sign, a lot of things. So for example, the irony is back in the days, the early 1800s, when Black people had very little or no education at all, some of the greatest inventions were made that benefited and brought this nation to the 21st century.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you got all this education, and yet people can't read. A kid can't read or decipher a word, or it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And it seems like the more supposedly educated we are, the less productive we have in our imagination. That's why there was an educational book that says when kids were left alone, their genius was at the top. And then by the time the educational system finished with you, which is training people to just work, not to be creative, not to be exploratory, not to have that inventive type of mind, but to train how to just take tests. Everything is robotic. Everything is just organized, and that doesn't allow for the creativity.
Yeah.
So this is why everybody's kind of like robotic, the way they think, the way they do. But human beings are, you know, I will give AI its credit for those who've invented it, and whatever the case is. One time somebody asked me, well, can the AI do or take the place of numerology as your science astrology? And I says, no. The one thing about what we do is we put a certain energy or soul into it.
Yes. The intuition, right?
Yeah, they can be very, very, shall we say, robotic.
Yeah.
That way, but it's take professionals like ourselves that they cannot duplicate what we can. So we'll never be out of business in that way. They can do the calculations faster. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah.
The part of interpretation and the nuances that you and I know from our decades of experience, they can't duplicate that.
They never can. Yeah. Because we're also using our experience, like you said, our heart, our soul, but that intuition in terms of reading the energy. So we're going to hello to everybody in the chat. Lloyd's going to get to some of your questions and comments shortly, but I want to jump into this because I don't know if everybody knows, but our government shut down.
Yeah, but see, it doesn't surprise me. Let me explain.
Okay.
The United States, founded on July the 4th of 1776, has certain numbers that are beneficial to it that I explained in my book. The key numbers to this country are the 4, 1, 2, and 7. So what does that mean? Yeah. That means each number is assigned a day. Well, the 1 and 4, which are kissing cousins, are assigned to Sunday. The number 2 and 7, which is kissing cousins, is assigned to Monday along with Wednesday. Therefore, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesdays are the best days for this country. Then there are months that are very important too. Those months would be February, June, July, August as their primary months. Okay. Then just as you have, and then there are dates in the United States. There's a lot of dates from the 1st, the 2nd, the 4th, the 7th, the 10th, the 11th, the 13th, the 16th, the 19th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, 28th, 29th, and 31st of the month. These are dates. So in the reverse, just, and it's interesting, no matter what shows I've done, whether it's on your show, Oprah Winfrey's show, very few people say, well, what numbers give me problems? Well, the numbers that antagonize this nation more than any is the number 6, the number 8, and the number 9. So if they understood that, each number is assigned a day. 6 is assigned to Friday, the day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated on. 9 is assigned to Tuesday, the day the stock market crash of 1929 occurred in October of 29. And then there is, so that's 6, 8, and Saturday, okay? So these are the stress days, which would be, therefore, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. But here is the thing. The most challenging months to this nation is always in January, April and May, October and November. Wow. Many of the presidents under the sign of Aquarius, there have been 5 Aquarian presidents. Out of the 4 Aquarian presidents, only 1 got out alive. That was Ronald Wilson Reagan.
That's right. We talked about, I remember that. Yeah.
5 Aquarian presidents, 4 of them died in the month of April, which is a very stressful sign to this nation.
Yeah, Kennedy was November, yeah.
And then November, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. In October, the stock market crashed. Then don't forget, back in the 80s or 90s, there was the shuttle explosion that they went into space and all the astronauts died in the explosion.
Watching it live on TV that day,
yeah. Yep. That was in January. Everybody was in shock. I remember that.
Yeah.
So these are normally challenging months. So therefore, October is normally really not the most best month for this country. Okay. And what happened on the day? It happened in the month of October. So it doesn't surprise me. The unfortunate part is the vitriol, it seems, the hatred against one another. But that's the 9 energy we're in. We're still in the 9 universal month. In other words,
you told me that, right? That the 9 does have
9 is one of the major opposition numbers. 9 is one of
the war, right?
Yes, one of the major opposition numbers to the United States. 9, as we know, is governed by Mars, the war planet. So Trump says that he's resolved 7 wars. There's always wars. There's war in Ukraine, the war in the Middle East, the wars here, the war there, and so it's creating a climate of hate, where yet on the higher side, 9 is a humanitarian number.
Yeah.
It means that we should see the best in all human beings, regardless of their origin or faith or religion or economics or culture, but to see us all collectively as one. And so that is the part. So now October is a 1 universal month, which means that for 2026, because 2 + 0 + 2 + 6 is 1, 10. So people that are born on the 1st, the 10th, like you, the 19th to 22nd, or the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st of the month, they will be the beneficiaries of it in addition to those signs. So for the United States, this is a problematic thing. Now, it's very interesting. The United States have had some crashes, stock market crashes.
Yeah.
One was back in 1873, then 1893, then 1919, 1929, that we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
And then there was a crisis of 2000, 1987, 2008, 2020, and they're projecting it might be a crisis in 2025. One
Well,
of the things
that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, because
Yeah.
things are not looking.
Yeah.
And the numbers are kind of like weird, because there's some numbers that indicate things are economically growing, but a lot of people are saying that it's fugazi, right? It's false. Like it's not financially stable. It's like a false growth. So how do you see that with the energy? I mean, could October, November, we potentially have a market crash, or the actual transition, leaving the fiat currency, going into the digital currency, which
this is one of the things that have caused crashes when the citizens lose the faith in the U.S. banking system. And that's kind of what's going on now. You know, I mean, listen, people can't look at us. We have no control. Listen, I barely could get my money out the bank, okay? So we have no control over the banking system. You have to ask the Rothschild family, the Morgans and whatnot.
We better keep it in our pillow.
Yeah. And even then, the dollar is not. So as I explained on my show several months ago,
yeah,
rent and mortgages go up, food goes up, gas goes up, electric goes up. Everything is going up except a man's salary. You don't need to be a rocket scientist, much less a genius or a GED, to figure out you're not going to survive. How you going to save? How you going to feed your family? So yes, it'll force you to cut back. You may not eat out too many days and decide to cut it back, but there's going to be in some ways, actually, the stress or challenge we're going through is going to be a blessing in a way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of people who are going to survive by starting their own businesses, because we're in a one. And that is the startup. That is when one steps out on faith. In this case, it seems like this administration isn't too concerned about how long the government's going to be shut down, that hundreds of thousands of government employees are now furloughed.
Yeah.
And
he's taking advantage of it as like, hey, I'm going to cut the fat and get rid of some of these democratic programs. Yeah.
And don't forget, he came in with the Doge program and started slicing and dicing right then and there.
Yeah.
You know
what I'm saying? Really was empty calories. It didn't really do what they said they were going to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, the job market is very, not doing as well. And so those are some of the characteristics of crashes, stock crashes, because the price will drop. Then there's the economic impact that affect the workforce, leading into recession that's going on. And then the investor psychology and what is happening with panic and fear and things of that nature. So the climate seems to be, unfortunately, right about ripe. And then it's not, we were taught as men growing up in Harlem that if you're going to be a man, you take your responsibilities.
That's right.
Republicans are blaming the Democrats. The Democrats are blaming the Republicans. Yeah. Ain't nobody owning up to nothing.
Nobody's like, it's on me. Yeah. Nobody's being an adult or a man. Exactly.
Like, my bad. This is on me. Okay. Let me step to the plate. And so it's like getting nowhere fast. It's much to do about nothing.
So then would this be a great opportunity? Would you give that advice to people to, maybe you're not investing so much in the stock market. Maybe it's time to invest in yourself and to maybe go out on your own, start your own business, so you're not relying on the system as much.
Well, that's exactly
energy supports that, correct?
That this is the time to step out on faith, to invest in yourself. And see, here's, so it says sometimes you turn lemon into lemonade, okay? Yeah. And so in the fact that there's going to be people that's out of work, but they're not going to be people that's going to roll over and play dead, Eric. Somebody's going to be innovative enough to start a business, an enterprise. You know, don't forget, Amazon started out of garage. Apple started out of garage. You know, Playboy magazine started out of garage. You know, and now they're going to behemoths. So that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be somebody who says, I'm not going to take this land down. I'm going to survive because I got to feed my family. I got to pay my bills and whatnot. And
through the stress becomes the turmoil brings it.
So there's going to be a lot of innovative things taking place in the year to come.
Well, and I was thinking that's so fascinating because just as you're saying that, right, it was announced a few weeks back that in Africa, a lot of the countries are uniting and they're actually launching their own internet. So it's not going through Europe and France. And
yes, I think Burkina Faso, Niger, you know, the Sahel region, and a lot of them. And don't forget all of the resources that the West enjoys seem to come out of one continent and one continent alone.
Yeah.
And that's Africa.
Yeah.
So as I says, I don't take anything away from anybody, but I don't take anything away from ourselves, you know.
That's right.
Like rhodium. Rhodium right now is about $3,900 an ounce. Rhodium is about close to $10,000. And rhodium is found on only one place primarily, that's in Africa. What is rhodium? Rhodium is what goes into the catalytic converters. So because over the last couple of years, people would go into the new cars and steal the catalytic converters.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because so all I'm saying is coffee, tea, chocolate, you name it.
The lithium, Congo, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, zinc, gold. And that's one of the things that's happening with Burkina Faso now. They've taken over the gold mines. They're building plants. They're actually planting and nourishing the Sahel, the desert.
Yeah.
They figured out a way. They planted millions and millions of ripe watermelons and put it in there to moisten the soil. It's
brilliant. No,
yeah.
And it's long overdue and it's very exciting. But I think it's because he was such a young leader, he's sparking it. And I think the other nations are kind of following his lead and uniting. And we may see that kind of go through, you know, like Libya and Nigeria.
No, it's going to spread. It's going to raise consciousness. And he's young. He's a Pisces, March 14th, 1988. And so he's a, you know, it's...
Oh, he's an old soul.
Yeah, very brilliant.
That's the water sign with the, what number, the 14th?
Air number.
Air number.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, and that's a day of brilliance. Einstein was born on that day.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of famous people of note were born on that day. You know what I'm saying? What's her name? The gymnastic, the young gymnastic that's
Simone Biles.
March 14th.
Wow,
yep.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like who's who. Michael Caine, the famous actor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a who's who is born on that day. So it's just very interesting. And they all made their impact in the world. So he is too.
So you want to say hello to people in the chat, see who's here? Maybe we read a couple comments.
Nobody is here yet, but when they do, I'd like to say hi to them. If they got...
Oh, no, there's the chat is open. There's a lot. I don't know if you can see it. Okay,
well, I don't see it. It says I'm in the show. And if I know where to look... Oh, hold up. Yeah. There's a section on the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, boy, there's a bunch of them. I didn't see them.
Yeah, we got a lot of love.
Okay. This game is life. So funny to watch at time. This is Quinella. She's one of the people that watches my show. A lot comes America too, but only those two continents, I would imagine. Yeah. Hello, BigEAstro Lloyd. This is and then Mama S says, who can afford to buy homes and sign up for these fraudulent mortgage taxes? In fact, they have schemes here in New York with houses in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
They'll send the bill to the wrong address. The person don't get it, and they'll lose their home by default.
Oh, my God. They were doing that in Detroit to the people, too. Yeah. But these are the gentrification scams that they run in the inner cities.
Yeah. And so, you know, how can you do this? Everything is just kind of overblown. And it's what's happening is, to me, you know, when God calls you home, you can't take those billions of dollars with you. So what do? There was an article I read not too long ago. There was a pledge back in the 80s of millionaires and billionaires making a pledge to leave monies to the less fortunate.
Mm.
And fast forward, they said none of them are doing it. None of them.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're just trying to get more money.
It's you know, it is what it is. But you know, that's all right. Us 9s and 7s, we got to step up and step out and lead the way. You know, get some Virgos and Aquariuses out there.
Wow, that I didn't even see.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Let me start back. Peace and bliss, Mr. Big E and Mr. Strayhorn. Thank you very much. This is Blissfully. She's one of ours. She's born August 22nd. I've gotten to the point where I kind of know the birthdays.
See, you're good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Blissfully.
CC says my two favorite guys. Hey, Baba Lloyd, and hey, Big E.
And make sure you guys are hitting the like button, and you new people, please subscribe to the channel.
Love to all.
Listen, Lloyd, I'm growing up like you, Lloyd. I finally hit 10,000, so I'm at 10,100 now. So
very good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It feels pretty good. It happened the day before my birthday, before I came on your show. I hit 10,000.
It's a nice present. Nice present. And Mama says Aquarius sun is in the building.
Yeah.
Salute. Queen D, she's a regular. Also, she's a Gemini. I know that's right. The mamas are in the building tonight. And it's like, hi, guys. I'm just reading, sending you some peace. So for some of you who got readings or who ask questions or whatever the case is, just give me, excuse me, your birthdays, and it'll be an honor and a pleasure, as I call it, to get in your business.
Yes. Okay. And Lloyd, you'll give them a little breakdown for the energy with their birthday base for like.
Yes, and the snapshot of what it's going to be for 2026.
Oh, for 2026. Okay, good. So before we do this, okay, yeah. And so explain, I totally get that, because it's also economically Libra season in October is the financial preview month as well, right? It's not just numerology. Okay.
Yes. But we were also talking about famous Libra personalities.
Oh, well, that's what I want to get to. Yeah, because you've got a list of people, and I want to ask you about their energies that kind of really explain, because I was blown away at how many famous Black Libras there are. Now, you know, I mean, hey.
And I only got a partial list. I just have a partial list.
Oh, yeah, there's so many. So go ahead, ring them down, and then you'll give us their I guess they're the Libra air sign, and then I guess on their birthday you'll tell us their number.
Well, just don't forget, people think that Libra started in October. It starts the last several days after the 22nd to 23rd.
Yeah, we have some September Libra.
The 23rd is official. So Lisa Ray Charles, John Coltrane, Jermaine Dupri, all born on the 23rd of the month. Wow. Then you got Will Smith, born on the 25th. And so is Donald Glover, is also on the 25th. Yeah. Then you got Lil Wayne, born on the 27th. You got Kevin Durant, the basketball star, is born on September the 29th. And then, you know, then there are a couple of Libras that I've had the pleasure of meeting. Like,
wait, don't forget about my girl Serena, the 26th.
No, that's right. No, yes, she's the 26th, and you're absolutely right. I got her right here, the 26th. Yeah. And you know what's interesting about her sister Venus? Her sister's also born on the 8th of June. So they're both 8s, and they're both in air signs, which I thought is interesting.
That is interesting.
And I think their father is an Aquarius, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
So there's Patrice Rushen that I had the pleasure of meeting. She's September the 30th. And then Tony Braxton, October 7th. And then, of course, Al Sharpton. His birthday is tomorrow on October the 3rd.
Yeah, October 3rd.
And then actress Taylor Page, Bernie Mac, who is born on October the 5th. That's his birthday.
Oh, I forgot Bernie was a Libra. Yes, he was the best. He was the best.
In fact, Nick Cannon, who's got all them babies. Okay. Bruno Mars, they're all born on October the 8th, these two. Okay. And then you got Ben Vereen that I had the pleasure of meeting, that's born October 10th, along with Maya, the singer. I met her too in the Queen City, which is Charlotte, North Carolina.
She was so good, but she kind of stepped away. I wonder if she was just like, I ain't messing with this industry.
She didn't want to get caught into all the whole thing about
I don't blame her. Good for her. Yeah, because I really enjoyed her work early on when she came out. Yeah.
And Cardi B, that's born October, she's working on her 4th child. She's now pregnant with her 4th child. So congratulations to her. Trisha Campbell, born on the 13th. Ashante is born on the 13th. Then you got Usher, who is born on the 14th of October.
Oh, I forgot he was a Libra. Okay.
Yeah, Eric Benet, that I also had the pleasure of meeting at the radio station here in New York, born on October 15th. His trademark was performing on the stage with no shoes on. That was
with that toe ring and dating Halle Berry. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he went to date Halle Berry. And then there's Neo, this October 18th. And then the Keisha Coles and Snoop Dogg, of course, October 20th. And then there's India Ari, that I also had the pleasure of meeting too and speaking to recently, born October 21st. And then Amber Rose, born October the 21st, just to name a few. But believe me, there are a whole lot more Libras.
Kamala Harris, October 20th.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
And Jesse. So let me ask you just about a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So someone like Will Smith, right? The 25th of September. So he's a 9/25. What numerology?
He's going into what is called an 8 personal year. How did I do it? I took the month and day. If you want to see the universal year for 2026 is a 1, but to find your personal year, you take the month and day you're born and add it to the year in question. So when I took September the 25th, added it to 2026, Will Smith will be in an 8, and so will Donald Glover be in an 8 personal year. Now, 8 is associated with money, power, authority, achievement, recognition, but it also rules births, marriages, pregnancies, separation, divorce. It also means a death or rest from labor. It means people from the past. It's also a legacy cycle. And when I say legacy, it draws people back into the past that you haven't seen by way of reunions, family reunions, marriages, christenings, funerals, but it brings people back together in ways that they haven't seen in a while. And when a person's in an 8 personal year, like Will Smith, who's about to enter, it simply means that he is about to do a lot of growing up. And it makes you assess and where you stand in our past actions, because 8 is also associated as the cycle of karma.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about with him. Whether it's, with his wife or Chris Rock and just all the different things, there's been so much drama around him the last few years. It'll be interesting to see how this.
And see, his wife, Jada Pinkett, is born in September 2 on the 18th, but it put her in the sign of Virgo. Yeah. So she's in a 9 personal year right now, which means about endings and terminations and losses. And she's about to step into a 1 personal year, which means she just wants to be just me, myself, and I.
That kind of sounds like a divorce, Lloyd.
Well, you said it.
So wait, now one person we kind of skipped over a little bit, but I think he's fascinating because his name is Tariq, right? Black Thought from the Roots. He's October 3rd with Al Sharpton, but he's, been around in hip hop for so long, and a lot of people consider him to be up there as one of the best MCs, best rappers out there. And obviously he does the Jimmy Fallon show at night. So that's really extended, the roots in his career. So what would the October 3rd energy be for Black?
He's going to be entering a 5 personal year, which is the Mercury influence, because don't forget, each number is governed by a planet. So you and I know that when Mercury is sitting in your house or in this chart, like it's going to be numerically speaking, it's going to be periods that deals with communications, import, export, the stock exchange, the literary field, radio, television, computers, technology, writing, things of that nature. But when a person is going through a 5 personal year, which is he'll be doing it means the desire to kind of take a break from the noise, the confusion, all the stress and strain, to get more breathing time so you can kind of get yourself together, you know? So I don't know what his commitment is in a family way, but I know that the more space you give him, the better he is likely to do.
Okay. Now, what about Jesse Jackson? Because I know he's been dealing with
He's October 8th.
Yeah, some health issues and stuff.
Yeah, well, normally 8 people tend to be misdiagnosed. It rules headaches, the knees, the teeth, the bones, the digestive system. And so he has been in a 9 personal year, which is a health cycle. See, there are certain cycles that are health cycles, which is 4 and 6 and 9. So when persons are going through these cycles, there's normally some health indicator. And if it's not the person themselves, then somebody close to them, a relative or friend or family member, stuff like that. So since he is in an 8 personal year, he's about to go into a 9, and that would indicate a health possibilities. Now, 9 in health rules: inflammations, accidents, injuries, nicks, cuts, burns, bruises, falls, explosions, knives, danger from guns, sharp instruments, things of that nature. So he would have to be he would have to be very careful in that sense. But since he is up there, one of the elders now, and the only thing that would be maybe a fever or a high temperature that he would have to be a little bit mindful of.
That's fascinating. All right, we're gonna get to everybody to chat. One more. I got to go back to the jazz legend, John Coltrane, because he was something, man.
Well, yeah, and if you notice, look at the day he was born on. Even the soccer great Pelé was born on that day, September the 23rd.
Really?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and although this person is of African descent, what was the guy born in the USA? What was his song that everybody liked?
Oh, Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA.
That's his day too. But but the whole thing is a feature on people that reflects who we are culturally. But John Coltrane has always been a legend.
Yes.
He has been his styles have been so duplicated. I mean, it's just amazing. And I think growing up as a kid, one of the pieces I like was My Favorite Things, when he played that on his alto sax and whatnot. And then don't forget, his wife, Alice Coltrane, was a musician in her own right.
Yes. So what was his number? Like, so was he a air number? Like, what's his number?
He was an air number with an air sign.
Oh.
See, each number is ruled by an element. So he's governed under the sign of Libra, which is air. He's born on the 23rd. 2 + 3 is 5, and that governs air. So
does that show some of the brilliance and the intuitive sense, like the way he played musically? I mean, just brilliant.
Yes, because don't forget, it's not a 5 like a Bernie Mac, or 14 like Usher 1 and 4. His is a 2 and 3. 2 represents the intuitiveness, and 3 represents that creativity, that intuitions, that expression.
Okay.
So when you got that, in fact, the most luckiest day to be born on, in fact, is the 23rd day of the month.
Really? Well, they say that's why Michael Jordan wore the number 23.
Yes, and did very well. Yeah.
That's a powerful number. Okay. All right. So you want to get to some of the birthdays in the chat?
Yes. Yes. Did anybody leave their birthdays? Let's see.
You guys, put your
going all the way back. It's quite a view. Okay. Thank you, Big E Melanated. Okay, I am. Let me see something here. Well, I do know one right off the hand that is blissfully evolving, and she is born on August the 22nd.
Okay.
Now, right now, presently, if I take her month and day and present year 2025, still she's in a 3 personal year. So 3 governs Jupiter. So that tells me if you were to do her astrological chart, Big E, that Jupiter would be strongly aspecting her chart, making it very busy, very productive, very creative and imaginative. You know, to the negative, it's governs scandals, gossips, rumors, legal matters, semi-legal matters to the negative, but it's normally associated with good luck, prosperity, and expansion. just busy, which means
and
that
August
next.
22nd, she's right on that cusp. So she's
That's right.
probably either, depending on the year she's born, she's either 29 degrees Leo or 0 degrees Virgo, depending on the year.
Exactly. So this is why we try to explain to whoever we at on every show that we need to tell them, yes, you need to know the month, the day, and the year, but more importantly, you need to know the time.
Yeah.
So, for example, yesterday, up until about 3:30, the moon was in Capricorn.
Yeah.
And after that, it went into Aquarius. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so that does make such a difference.
Yes.
When you are bringing up a chart for somebody, especially when that moon is switching, that makes a big difference. Now, both of those, Capricorn and Aquarius, are both Saturn ruled moons, but it still plays out a little differently, So
in the case of blissfully evolving, she's entering a 4 personal year. She happens to be born on the 22nd day of the month, which matches her 4. So she is about to lay a foundation, a very important foundation for herself in terms of what she wants to do, her goals. 4 allows you to establish boundaries. It allows you to follow or design a blueprint or a roadmap as to where you want to get from point A to point B. 4 is also governed by the planet Uranus, which is the planet, the sign of Aquarius. So Uranus will be strongly aspecting her chart in some way. And those under the signs of Aquarius or Libra, Aquarius or Leo, I should say, in a minor way, Gemini. Because what's that? Uranus has its exaltation in Mercury, or Mercury has its exaltation. When we look
Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You see, that's what I'm saying. See, I figured you could articulate it better.
And right now, Gemini is still in Uranus until November 7th. So this is another thing. We'll get back to a couple more in the chat, but this is fascinating because I really want your take on this, because you brought up something that I was not aware of America, about the month of November. Because in November, you guys, and I just had my coffee talk meeting about this, Uranus will return back to Taurus for the final time in our lifetimes, right? From November 7th to April 25th, 2026. Well, when Uranus comes into Taurus, it's affecting the stock market, our food, our resources, our values, our self-worth, literally just all the goods and services, all these things that Taurus, precious metals, jewelry. So that's November 7th. What is that kind of day? And how do you think November 7th, with this sort of, because Uranus brings in chaos, sudden events, extreme, just unpredictability. There's
going to be a non-universal day on November 7th. It's a governor Mars influence.
So that can be
Neptune.
kind of challenging then.
So it's going to be a Mars-Neptune conjunction on that day, astrologically speaking, to you as an astrologer.
Yeah. So it could be. So does that add a little extra flavor to you when you think about November being a challenging month for us as in America when you look at the stock market?
Well, actually, November is going to be somewhat challenging to the United States. However, to the world, though, it's going to be an 11 universal month, which means that we all should operate from an elevated mindset.
Yeah.
To take it to the next level. Now, you can reduce the 11 to 2, which means being at peace. It's a transformational cycle, transitions in the home, transitions in relationships, transitions at the workplace. Also, what's going to be important too, in that way that you bring it up, is a lot of people are going to be more conscious of their diet than ever before. They've just been revealed, just in some article I was reading the other day, that cancer has now, it used to be people who got cancer would be in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. But now they get them in their 20s and their 30s. And you know what they said the major cause was? Processed foods.
Yes, sir.
Processed foods. Now, I didn't make this up. I ain't talking about the industry. I'm just telling you what the article said. We didn't write the article. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Touchy nowadays.
Some folks don't want to hear it. That's what I tell folks when I'm doing their readings, Lloyd. I said, listen, I don't tell you what to eat. I let you know what the chart shows in your second and sixth house based on your food and health. Yeah. So you're right. That's powerful information. And that's going to be fascinating. And November should be kind of interesting.
Yes, it is. It's going to be in 11. So those under the signs of Leo and Aquarius and Cancers will be the beneficiaries. And then when we go, and here's what's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
October gives a sneak preview into 2026. November gives you a sneak preview into 2027. And December gives you a sneak preview into 2028.
Explain that. Really? That's
Yes.
fascinating. Okay. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Why?
Listen,
I want to know. Tell me why.
it's not simple, but let me explain.
Yeah.
If you look at the fact that October is a one universal month, which means it's going to be a one universal year, the next month over is an 11. Okay, because 9 plus the 11th calendar month will equal actually a 20. So it's going to be a period of revelation, a period of raising one's consciousness. Therefore, that will reflect the year to follow after that from 26 into 2027. Then 9 going 12th calendar month equals 21, which is a 3. And that will be the universal year for 2028. So these are some of my little numerology techniques.
I love that. That makes that, and I see how it makes sense. And have you been doing this for years, where you've actually seen it play out to fruition?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, for example, back in December of last year, Miss Kimberly and I recorded a prediction for 2025.
Yeah.
So each month, I'll play the snippet of what was said for those particular months. It seems to fit the bill right on point, but it's not me as so much as we have mastered the art of interpreting the numbers, like you have mastered the art of interpreting the planets and the stars and their rotations and the house that they're in. People don't understand this is an art of what we do. And yet they will say, well, this is pseudosciences. No, it is scientific. You and I know this is.
Oh yeah.
And I'm curious, I want to ask you a question as an astrologer.
Yeah.
When there's always a question in the news about an astrology, they always ask an astronomer. Why is that?
They do that on purpose because, okay, so there was just something recently this past month in the New York Times, and it seems like every, once or twice a year or every couple of years, they have to come up with something to kind of, make it seem like, oh, your sign is not really your sign anymore because of the precession of the equinox and things have moved, whatever. And it's like, that's not how Western tropical astrology works. And they're always trying to debunk it. And they do that because they know the people in power use it. And they know how powerful this ancient wisdom and knowledge is, right? They want us to not be aware of astrology, numerology, and cardology, right? Because we've both talked about it a numerous amount of times, right? The JP Morgan comment, right? Astrology is the language of billionaires. Only millionaires don't use it. And that's why he didn't get on the Titanic. He had an astrologer. Different presidents had astrologers. They just released Jeffrey Epstein's birth chart and his birth time. And
he's January the 20th.
And he used an astrologer.
Oh, we're surprised.
Yeah. So there's not too much detail. It looks like maybe it could have been a one-off. They don't know, but maybe he had a solar return chart reading. Listen, don't believe that. He used astrology. He knew it. They know it. You know what I mean? But he was born in Brooklyn, and I brought up the chart, and I'm like, oh, I got to teach a lesson on it. It's fascinating. Okay. His chart was fascinating. I was like, oh, this is why he was so, wild or whatever. Because you see it immediately. You look at a chart, you're like, oh my God, that explains everything.
And see, from his birthday, and look at his numbers on January the 20th, which is his birthday, it told me that therefore women would be his blessing and his curse, which it proved to be. Yes.
And I believe he was 1950.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
So that's fascinating. And it just so happened on the 20th that year, he's 0 degrees Aquarius. Because some years, 21st is 0 degrees Aquarius. It just depends. But that year where he was born, I think it's 1950, he's a 0 degrees Aquarius. So that's something else. So the 20th, that's an air sign with a water number?
Yes, he would be an air sign with a water number on that day.
And does that give even more insight to the issues with the women?
Water just heightens its sensitivities, and then he's born under an air sign, so that means he's juggling between the more logical side versus the more intuitive or emotional side of the nature. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking at. So since there wasn't too many birthdays, what I would like to do is tell about what everybody's zodiac sign can be expected for 2026.
I would love that. That's
I'll
perfect.
start with the sign of Aries.
All righty, let's go.
All Aries is going to allow them a chance to really start anew, to start fresh, to carve a new dynamic for themselves. It's like a blackboard, and then you erase it, and then you got a clean slate to start with. Well, Aries is going to do that. They're going to make some real big moves at this time.
And that's perfect because Saturn and Neptune will be coming back in February, right after the start of the new year, to stay there to Saturn 2029 and Neptune in Aries to 2039. Aries are going to have a whole new walk, a new vigor, but also they'll be a little less impulsive, Lloyd.
Yes, that's interesting. And, you know, there's and Aries is a sign of Cancer, which will affect America in that way until 2039. That's exactly what they're saying too. Okay. So then if a person's a Taurus, they're going to be going through a very soul searching phase. They're going to be looking at life through a different set of lens. Neptune will be transiting their charts in ways that makes them stop, look, and listen, to begin to question, to begin to examine closely. Is going to appear a period of secrets revealed, things of that nature. But I would advise Tauruses of any kind to get into some form of meditation. For Geminis, they're going to settle down. You know, Gemini is the air. They like movement, freedom, variety, travel. But most Geminis are going to have this domesticated feeling, this domesticated sense of things about them, to be more settled, to be more committed about relationships, more closer to the home, going to school and things of that nature. If you look at Cancers, well, Cancer is going to expand. Cancer is going to be going through a Jupiter phase. So a lot of things about to open up for all Cancers out there who are doing things. They're going to find that they're going to have their creative hats on. They're going to be very imaginative and problem solving. And since you know Cancer is definitely the sign of the home, the family, the mother, they're going to be coming up with more creative concepts and ideas to deal with those situations like that. For Leos, they're going to be going through a master number 11 cycle, which means very energized, highly motivated, coming up with inventive, creative, unique, and visionary ideas that's going to really take their lives and people around them to the next level. If you look at Virgo.
Wait, before we go to Virgo, Lloyd, let me just say, because blissfully, she did give a super chat, and she's the Leo. She's got the Sag moon and the Libra rising. And with that Libra rising and her Leo sun in the 11th house, right? This is also a year for her to connect with groups and organizations over the internet and to really follow her hopes and dreams. Her social network could really help her this year, but she's got to be moving her body, right? With the Sag moons are very deep, Bliss, in terms of you're like, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But they want to share their wisdom, their beliefs, their philosophies. They're so knowledgeable. And so, you know, when you have that in the 5th house, this is where you can tap in blissfully and share some of your, maybe you may be, and Lloyd knows you probably better than me, so maybe you may like numerology and astrology, and there's something that you are taking a class or you want to teach or share with people, or even your children or grandchildren. But this is really a powerful time for you because of all, even with everything retrograding back in Pisces, right, squaring your Sagittarius moon, there's going to be opportunities for growth through the esoteric and occult knowledge. So really,
to me, since it's found in the 11th house, the house of Aquarius, it means in addition, either an Aquarian or an Aquarian related person with Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant, if not a sun, will help bring some more innovative and unique and inventive ideas to the equations in her relationship for the coming year.
Yeah, and she's definitely smart as a whip. I mean, that fiery energy. The key is, though, you're going to have to move. Okay, you're going to have to move your body. And remember, you are very much a natural empath with that Scorpio in the second house if you're the Libra rising. So I hope, thank you, Blissfully, for the super chat. And I hope that really helps. And you could always email me, and I'll give you some more insight too, Eric@BigEAstrology.com. Now we can go to me, the Virgos.
Yes, for Virgos, this is going to be a year coming up for them to go back to school. And not so much school, they could go to a school, with brick and mortar. But if nothing else, to begin to read, to begin to learn. I have a cousin in DC. He says, Lord, anything you want to know now, just go to YouTube and put it in the question. You can learn. So there's no excuse for Virgos not to take themselves to the next level anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they have a deep sense of knowledge and health and whatnot. And because it's the sixth sign and it's going into the 6th year, their health will improve. And so I would suggest that they get more sunlight, fresh air, brisk activities that will do more than any medication that could be prescribed to them. You know what I'm saying?
I love the health improve, because last week I went to the doctor and got a cortisone shot in my knee, and I'm walking fast and blissfully. I feel so good. I was like, thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh. There you go.
Make sure you get in more sunlight too and breathe in the fresh air, get into some deep breathing. People think because they breathe in and out, there is an art to breathing called prana. Yes. And if you can learn like alternate breathing, breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out twice. You know what I'm saying?
Nose, there. What does the Native Americans say? Don't do that mouth breathing.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're supposed to breathe through the nose.
That's right.
So still I can catch whatever germs or whatever. But when your mouth is wide open, everything is coming through.
That's right.
So they knew what they were doing,
Yeah.
So now for Librans, this is a time for them to also kind of get into a more internal, introspective phase, to get more time alone, to begin to question why they do the things they do. And for Librans, they're going to be going through a cycle that I refer to as the law of attraction. Whatever they're thinking about will be drawn unto them, okay? And that's how that's going to be. So if they're chasing, it's because things are running away from them. So for Libras, just have to love, you think about it. If there's money, you think about it, a new car, whatever it is. And as the elders say, you then let go and let God, because the law of attraction is like a magnet. Whatever you put in front of it, it will come to the magnet. So if a person, Libras, are thinking like that, they will be the beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Scorpios, like Aries, is going to want to stand more tall, stand more independent, be more self-reliant. And plus, it is a fixed sign. So it means it may be very determined. So if Scorpios find themselves very, very, or appears to be from family members and others, selfish, it's not that they're trying to be selfish as so much as right now they're trying to carve their own path, get their own direction and things of that nature. And that's what they have to look forward to. Sagittarians are going to put the brakes on things. Sagittarians are known to be like all over the place, expansive and whatnot. It's a mutable sign, so they are fluid.
They stay busy, Sagittarians.
But Sagittarians are going to have to do things with more of a sense of order, purpose, direction, and intention. That's going to be the main thing. But the point about it is, for Sagittarius, what they put in is exactly what they put out. One time I was in Texas on a radio station, and the guy says, man, when is my ship coming in? My question was, did you send a ship out there? Because if you didn't send nothing out here, how you going to get something
nothing coming back, brother? Yeah.
That is the theme for Sagittarians. Whatever you put into the year of 2026 will return to you multiple. Okay. Wow. But if you don't do anything and say, well, I'm going to wait around, you're going to be very disappointed. Next, for Capricorns are going to begin to phase things out. They're going to look at things in a way that's from 3 perspectives. One is about either letting things go and letting bygones be bygones, or there'll be some Sagittarians that put things on hold. Now they wish they're in a position to fulfill those dreams, those goals, those objectives. And also, there's a possibility of some long distance trips indicated too, to go to faraway places, or people from far away come past their doorstep. With Aquarians, they're going to be in a 5 personal year. So they're going to be going through this Mercury cycle of opportunities, business, science, import, export, the stock exchange, travel movement, a lot of activities. They're going to be on the go. And because it's a literary cycle, it'd be good for Aquarians to kind of put their mind to paper by pen and writing a book or
do you have an announcement to make? Does Lloyd have another book?
No, I'm just saying. Don't start those up, Eric. And then, saving last but not least for Pisces, they too are going to be laying the blueprint, the foundation, the cornerstone to how they want to go forward with the year. They're going to be going through a Uranus phase, so that means they're going to have to be open and to any unexpected, any unforeseen, anything that's out of the blue that comes. But they will be prepared because, like the one thing I like about mutable signs is they're adjustable. Fixed signs, they get set in their ways. You know what I'm saying? But the mutable signs of Virgo and Pisces, Gemini,
they kind of go with the flow. They go with the flow.
They can roll with it. They can roll. And you know, and I like those signs because the only thing that's constant in life is change. That's the only thing that's constant in life is change. So they're actually in the best position to go through any adjustments that come their way.
Wow. Well, I love that because you really, gave everybody the numerology meal for 2026. And I thank you, Lloyd. This has been so much fun. You know how I feel about you. I could keep you forever.
We brothers.
But I want to just say in closing, what is the spiritual obligation for 2026 for not just the individual signs, but just for the collective energy? Because 2025 has been tough. 2026 is going to bring in kind of what we saw in 2025, the sneak previews, right? With Uranus going to Gemini for a little bit, Saturn and Neptune going to Aries for a little bit. Well, they're going to permanently be there starting 2026, February and April. And it's going to bring in huge shifts and changes for the collective. So what are you sensing through the numerology what is our collective responsibility and work that we need to do to really integrate all this new energy?
Well, I would say in that way, and you so aptly put it, think of it this way as a farmer. Begin to decide what seed you wish to plant. That is the cycle, that whatever seed you plant, you will see it grow over the time. You must be patient. Like right now, we're in a world of instant gratification. We put the button, we want things to come up right now. But in the real world, there is a process. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have these generational planets like Pluto and things of that nature. But for all of us, it's in your best interest to decide what kind of plants do you wish to put in the ground, in the soil. Because don't forget, whatever you do will last with you for the next 9 years. So if you got somebody that's always been a pain, don't let them occupy too much of your space. If there's something that you want to do, because they'll stick with you for the next 9 years.
Oh my God.
So
that's definitely important for people to know that information.
So pick and choose very carefully of what you want to. Let's say a person says, I want to move, but they can't move right now. Plant the seed of moving. And just let it grow. And by the time you get to around about cycle 3 or 4, more later than 5, opportunities will present itself where you move. But life is not like TV. It's not like instant gratification, just add water. And if you can understand that process, you plant the seeds and then you see the results. And also, before we do, plant the seed of how you talk to yourself. Yes. Don't knock yourself. Love yourself.
Yes.
Thank you. Plant those kind of seeds of self-love. Yes. And that in and of itself will spark that kind of attraction that people will see the energy and the love from you and help assist you in your journey moving forward for the next 9 years.
I love that. Thank you, Lloyd. And that's what it's all about, because I always tell my clients and my audience, we have got to retire from negative self-talk. That's not our job to talk bad about ourselves. The world will do that. If we don't pour into ourselves, and universal law, right? This is like, it's in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, all the religious books. The word is life. Mm-hmm. Don't kill yourself. Love yourself. Talk positive about yourself.
Yeah. But I will say this before I leave your gracious host, I want to say for those who wish to get in touch with me,
yes, I was going to say, share all your information.
You know, right now, we're getting into our season where a lot of people are consulting us about what is about to come up for 2026. Then we get on the other side of 2026, what's going on. So for people who wish to contact me, just go to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn. That's LLOYD Strayhorn, STRAYHORN, and just click on the link of consultations. Also, sign up for my free newsletter. And also, I have an app that I'm very proud of, and you need to have an app yourself, too.
Yes, I'd like to get an app. I'd like to get an app. Now, I'm going to give them the app information, but also I want everybody to follow Lloyd, Numbers and You, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
This man is everywhere, and all the links are down below in the description, including the website. But definitely, now tell them about the app, because you've got something magical there.
I designed an app as a result of talking to business people for many years. They would bring a calendar, they bring a red marker, they bring a green marker. The green was for go, the red was for slow or no. And this way they could plan their activities as to what days is best to set up appointments and what days to avoid them. Really? And let's say there was a red star day and they had to go to the appointment. Well, if things didn't work out the way they wanted or expected, at least they're not thrown off their center, okay? But you still put forth your best energy. It's not that you hide under a rock. Right. No, it's not designed for that. But think of a star in the heavens with the number 8. So it's ASTAR, the number 8. That's ASTAR, the number 8. Now, you can either go that way, go to your website, your iPhone or Play Store, or just go to my site, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, and you'll see a star 8. Click on it. And then the person has a choice of loading it up from iPhone or Android, or go to Linktree, linktr.ee/numbersandYou, and sign up for the free newsletter. It's absolutely free.
Yeah, and it's great. The newsletter is great. I love the report that you and Kimberly do each month too. That is brilliant. And
that stems from the monthly newsletter.
Yeah. And then I look forward to the end of the year report that you guys do, because I remember watching it last year and I was like, this is just so much helpful information. So I thank you and Kimberly for doing that. And Kimberly will be joining me in November. So I look forward to having her on. And
she wrote an amazing book. I got to give her props. She wrote.
I'm sure her and Queen Bee. Listen, this is what I love, about our communities and just all these different people who, I feel so blessed and honored to know and call acquaintances and colleagues and friends. But, you're the kind of the hub of it all. But when you see Kimberly and you see Queen Bee and you see Jazz and Paris Williams and, Nina Diamond that you just had on and the other gentleman and King Simon, and there's so much brilliant knowledge and information out there that people are really authentically heart-centered, trying to help us all know better, live better, and do better. And that's invaluable.
Half of them have graced your show. The rest will grace your show over time.
I look forward to having the other half on. Yes, listen, and I thank you for making those connections. But also, it's important. I always feel, because for me, I was raised, my parents in Harlem and just in New York City, and just the respect for elders. And to me, you are not just someone of class and distinguished with knowledge and information, but you are that real humanitarian. And, the information and the knowledge that you give to all of us, just Mondays and Wednesdays alone with your podcast, we just all have to give you a big thumbs up. Thank you. And ashe, ashe.
And congratulations for reaching the $10,000 subscriber mark just for your birthday. You need 10,000.
I appreciate it. Listen, I wish they sent me $10,000.
Yeah, to see the football players you got in your house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, listen. The Team Taylor over here, Team Taylor, and my wife is the one that makes it all happen. She's the one that.
Well, women are always the glue to the foundation of family.
Yes.
They're always the glue.
Thank you, Lloyd.
And without women, you don't exist. Seriously, you really
please
don't.
go and get his app, the newsletter, the website. Are there any courses you're teaching coming up?
Well, I do have online courses. That's also available to going to my app on my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com or Linktree/numbers in you. I have courses on Udemy. In fact, they're now on sale. So you can get it for the cost of a breakfast.
Okay, that sounds good. Now,
and you own it.
This is funny because I heard
you need to be on Udemy also.
Huh?
You need to be on Udemy also.
On Udemy, yes. I've heard about Udemy.
Udemy. They interchange.
Yeah, Udemy. Yeah, I got to get on there. So wait, but let me ask you this: have you ever had people come to you that are like avid gamblers and ask you to help them with the numerology? And is that something that you can do or willing to do? Or
no, they try to hint at it. But if I knew that, I wouldn't be on your show. I'd be on a yacht somewhere on the other side of the planet. Okay.
I tell people, listen, you got to be careful with that gambling because everything is controlled and fixed. You know, unless you live in unless you are in with the people in Las Vegas, you better leave.
Algorithms always is in favor of the house. Always.
Yes, always in favor of the house.
And they made it a science. So when you're in those casinos, the bells and all the sounds that just creates that excitement. And then
they don't build those buildings to lose.
And not only that, but then they give you alcohol, as much alcohol as you need to kind of loosen you up. Then they have ATM machines too. So you know what I'm saying? I don't trust them. I don't go in them. I don't gamble
either, Lloyd. I don't gamble either. So, well, thank you again, my friend. This has been an honor and a pleasure, and I feel like you got us all ready for October, November, and 2026. So this was.
Yeah. And please give Alana my best. It was great to see her, even if it was just for a moment. I would like to have her back on at some point.
I will let her know. She would love to come back on.
Yeah, because it was just great. And the way she talked about you and how she helped you pull through at those crisis moments at the hospital. That was a story in and of itself. You know what I'm saying?
And I tell you, listen, Lloyd, today's only, October 2nd, 4 years ago today. I was still asleep. I didn't wake up to the 16th.
Yeah. You were out for a long time, but evidently there was a higher force that says you still have work to do. You know.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks so much, Eric, and you take good care. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribe, and do me a favor. Come back and leave a comment after the show is done. Help the show grow in algorithms, and make sure you do that on Lloyd's show. Okay, I just went and left a comment on his last episode with Miss Nina Diamond. Y'all need to go do the same. Okay, thank you.
For those in the chat and comment section, I thank you all very, very much. The kindness.
Yes, and thank you everybody for coming. Yes.